I remember hearing earlier this week that Cam Newton kind of walked back what he said about he only wants a starting quarterback job, and now
Hmm.
he's saying he's willing to take a backup job. And I'm trying to think like what but he said he'd take the backup job only in the right circumstances or the right situation. And I was trying to
Yeah.
think what team would be a good situation for him to be a backup quarterback into.
Chicago.
Yes, but again, they already have two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I have two teams. I have
For,
the Redskins
hmm
because of Ron Rivera, and also Dwayne Haskins is a young quarterback who probably needs to sit for 2 seasons
hmm
to keep learning and get used to NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. Second
Gotcha.
team, and this is going to blow your mind, 49ers. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, I think like they may have signed him franchise money, but I think because he didn't show out in the Super Bowl, like I think the 49ers were kind of hoping.
Hmm.
Like he played it safe a majority of the time. I think that they're going to want a quarterback that's mobile, and Jimmy G is not mobile. So I think like he would be in
Let
a.
me let
I
me
think.
ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Cam Newton would have made that throw that Garoppolo missed?
Which one are you talking about?
The Super Bowl throw. The one where he overthrew Sanders like 20 yards. It was pretty bad.
No, I don't think he would have made the throw, but
Really? I
well,
think
okay.
he would have.
Well, okay. So I'm not saying he's not talented enough to make the throw. I don't think he would have thrown it. My is my point.
Well, I think that's where the ball was supposed to go, and I think Newton would. I mean, if I think Newton is smart enough to know,
Mhm.
like, especially if he were with Mike, yeah, Mike, no, Kyle Shanahan. I want to say
Yeah.
Mike. Um, I think Newton would respect him a lot because he did face Shanahan quite a bit
Mhm.
when Shanahan was with the Falcons
Mhm.
and he had to go against him, and those games were back and forth. So I think he would respect him, and I think he would make that throw, and I think he would nail it because Newton's got an arm.
Well,
And
we need to see how recovered he is because of the
true,
shoulder injuries,
true.
the leg injuries, his back. A lot of that's going to play into factor, and he's a
Yeah.
mobile quarterback like what I'm mentioning. So I'm not saying like he can't make the throw. I'm just saying like he probably
Hmm.
wouldn't have made the throw. He probably would have scrambled, pulled the defense, and then he would have made a different throw somewhere else. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. I don't think Jimmy G's overthrow to Sanders was that egregious. Like, yeah, he missed him by a lot, but I think that 49ers finally saw that Jimmy G is probably just an above average starting quarterback and he's not a Tom Brady, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not. He to me is what every Raider fan argues about Carr.
Mhm.
Of he really doesn't throw over 10 yards, and like Carr, you have so many games where he does, but he does a lot of checkdowns as well, and so a lot of Raider fans are like, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. With Garoppolo, that's how they've tailored the offense around Garoppolo is
Mhm.
him only throwing like 5 yards a pass.
It's like
That's why a
it's
lot
like
of the
a
running backs were dominant this year because he's dumping it off to them. Or Kittle, he's letting Kittle make the play. Or
Mhm.
Sanders is running a 3 yard slant.
Mhm.
Or Debo Samuel is a great example. There was a ton of wide receiver screens that Samuel turned into big plays.
Yeah.
And Garoppolo gets those numbers, but it's really not him doing anything. It's just him throwing it to him and the receiver doing everything else.
I think they've made Jimmy Garoppolo's playbook like a West Coast offense 2.0. They've
Yes.
modernized the 2.0. They modernized the West Coast playbook in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I think I think one of the reasons why San Francisco was so enamored with Jimmy G was because Bill Belichick was so enamored with him that
Yeah.
people were so attracted to that. Like, wow, what does Bill Belichick know that we don't know? Because he won all these Super Bowls with Tom. Now he's keeping this kid and wants to put him in the starting lineup and over Tom. But obviously that didn't happen. But I think it's because Jimmy G is an above average starting quarterback, like I said, that's going to win games and can continue to produce. But he's not like a franchise quarterback with an arm like Drew Brees or Matt Ryan or Wilson or anything like that. Like he's got just a good enough arm to make good throws, but he's not going to air it out 60 to 70 yards, down the field and be that electric. He's going to make the plays that you ask him to make, and he's going to make the football play that matters the most, and not the play that's going to ignite the team, if that makes any sense. He's not going to throw Debo Sanders or Samuel, excuse me, a long pass for a touchdown. He's probably going to check it down to George Kittle because that's the right play to make.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like it. I think that's interesting for sure.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I was thinking about that on
really
the
good fit.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on the show, and I was like, well, Shanahan might like the mobile aspect of it, especially if they're running RPOs. They have
they kind of already let Garoppolo run, but the issue is when Garoppolo runs, he's getting injured.
Imagine if you put Cam Newton in that spot and you have Morset, and you have that RPO threat right there. Can you imagine what the defense is going to be nervous about? Like, who's got the ball now?
Yeah.
And plus, they got to be honest with Cam, because Cam, if he's healthy, has a really good arm. He's kind of
a strong arm.
Yeah, he's an underrated passer, but for the last 2 seasons, he's been dealing with a shoulder injury. That's why he doesn't feel like a threat. But when he first came into the league in his Super Bowl, and also the year that he won the MVP and went to the Super Bowl, he was throwing the ball really well.
Yeah.
So